Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're wondering, yes, I chopped off my hair. Let's just jump into the video though. So recently I've been spending a lot of time on Instagram and TikTok, and I've been talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are either just being diagnosed and have a lot of questions, or a loved one is diagnosed and they have a lot of questions. So I almost want to make this into like a series because I cannot do all of it in one video, but I wanted to do 5 things I wish I had known when I was diagnosed. Now, I was 4 when I was diagnosed, and it was back in 1992. So there were no CGMs, there were no pumps. So I am going to include those things in this video because now there are. So people who are being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes now, you know, these are the things that I think you could really benefit from that I wish I had or had known when I was diagnosed. So in no particular order, number 1 is a pump with a CGM. If you are completely against a pump or it's not something that you want, I really highly recommend at least getting on a CGM because there's no way you're going to be able to manually check your blood sugar every 5 minutes during the day, and especially overnight. For me, the pumps started coming out when I was maybe, I want to say 7, 8. And I was completely against it. I didn't want it on me. I thought that was super weird. Like, I don't want to have to carry it with me all the time and have this needle in me. Like, I didn't really understand it. You know, again, they were just coming out. I don't even think there were CGMs at this point. I think it was just pumps coming out that, you know, you would have to check your blood sugar and input the carbs and everything. But you didn't have to do like a manual injection. You have to stick yourself 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day. I fought the inner battle of getting a pump for years, and I finally gave in and I got on a pump. I got on the AccuCheck pump back in 2015, and it was amazing. It helped me so much. And I was on that pump for a very short time because they actually went out of business, and we knew someone at the time who was working for Medtronic. So she was able to get me, you know, started on that pump with a CGM, and that literally just blew my mind. It changed my life. I am currently on the T-Slim X2 with the Dexcom G6. Obsessed. I am fully obsessed with both of these. I know the Omnipod is really awesome too. Tubeless, like, is a dream. I think my next pump, I will go Omnipod just so I don't have the tube, at least for a little bit, just to see what it's like. But the T-Slim and the G6 do talk to each other. So it's almost like a closed loop where the CGM checks your blood sugar every 5 minutes, sends the results to your pump, and your pump will adjust the insulin as needed. It will correct a high for you. It's like auto mode in the Medtronic pump, but for me, this is way, way, way more accurate. And my goal on this one is 110, whereas on the Medtronic, you can't go below 120. So that is my number 1 thing. Talk to a doctor. And this is for type 1 parents. If your child was just diagnosed, or if, you know, a family member was, talk to a doctor about an insulin pump, or at least get on the CGM. If you still want to do manual injections, you can do one without the other. You can also be on the pump without the CGM. But I highly recommend, like, the CGM is just going to change your life. It's going to make your life so much easier. I promise you. Number 2, I wish I had known more about carb counting. When I was first diagnosed, it was all like, you can't have sugar, you can't have sugar. You know, that was like the main thing. But as I'm getting older and having more experience and trying new like diets, lifestyles, I've tried, I did vegan for a little bit, vegetarian, keto was probably my favorite. I just think carb counting, there's so much that goes along with it. Just really take some time and even do classes. Like, there are a lot of hospitals and endocrinologists that offer courses and training for diabetics for free, and just learn how to carb count. Learn, you know, you subtract the fiber. I didn't know that until like a few years ago, that you subtract fiber from the carbs. Sugar alcohols get subtracted. It is just so much. And, you know, I think that's really important to learn in the beginning, that we really didn't know. We were just looking at sugar and, okay, it's this many carbs. And being on the manual injection. When I first was diagnosed, I was on a manual injection at specific times in the day. So like 8:30, 3:30, 8:30. And those were the only times I could eat. I couldn't eat any time outside of that specific time when I took my insulin. And I had to eat within like 30 minutes, I think, of giving myself insulin, which is similar to now pre-bolusing, right? But I wish we had known how to read a nutrition fact label, because there is a lot that goes along with it. A lot that you have to look at ingredients wise. Some carbs absorb differently than others. It's not all just black and white, cut and dry. Like, there is so much that comes along with it. And I think that that's super important when you're first diagnosed, to learn about carb counting, fibers, sugar alcohols, what sugar-free really means. And I'll actually get into that in one of the tips in this video. But I think that's really important to learn how to carb count. This one kind of goes along with the last one, but I wish I had known that labels are misleading. A lot of things nowadays will say sugar-free, no sugar added, keto, and they're not. I just want to say, be so careful. And this is really, whether you've just been diagnosed or you've been a type 1 for a while, or even a type 2, make sure that you're really researching your label. I had an issue. I posted a TikTok video I think months now, where I tried a keto bread and it spiked me to 400. So really look at your ingredients, look at what you're eating. Things that say sugar-free sometimes will spike you. No sugar added usually means that it has whatever sugar it already has, and they can add up to that same amount without going over and just saying no sugar added, because they added the exact, let's say that you have 50 grams of sugar, they can add another 50, because once they add 51, that's sugar added. So keep that in mind too. So labels can be super misleading, and just be careful with processed foods, you know, things that, you know, like cookies, crackers, pretzels, things like that, that really can spike you, and can spike you late. You might not see a spike for 3 hours. Just be careful, look at the labels, look at the ingredients. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. If it seems too good to be true, it is. The fourth thing is, I wish someone had just told me that this is going to be a crazy experience. The ups and downs of blood sugars and emotions, hormones and stress, and the things that make your blood sugar go up and down, and sometimes you can't control it. Sometimes your blood sugars are just crazy. Sometimes you're going to be low all day. Sometimes you're going to be high all day. And I wish someone had just told me, hey, it's okay. Because I've spent many years beating myself up over certain things and feeling like I'm not good enough and my control's not tight enough, and, you know, comparing myself to others, and it doesn't do anybody any good. So I wish someone had just told me, hey, look, it's gonna be hard, but diabetes you can totally live with, have a long, healthy life as long as you take care of it. If no one has told you, take it from me, it's okay. It's gonna be hard. But, you know, I didn't open up for a long time, and I didn't talk to other diabetics for a long time, but make yourself known in the community. There's so many amazing there's an amazing community on TikTok of diabetics, YouTube. There's an amazing diabetes profiles on Instagram. There's Beyond Type 1, there's the diabetes app, there's Diabetes Strong. Like, there's just so many places where you can get support, and just know that you really are not alone in this, and we all struggle in different ways, type 1s and type 2s, but just know that it will be up and down, and sometimes you're going to do everything in your power that you can to bring your blood sugar down, and you will not be able to, because it's a stressor, something's going on where your hormones are off, and you're just gonna beat yourself up about blood sugars, and don't, because there will be bad days. You cannot avoid the bad days, but there will be amazing days too. So just surround yourself with that support, whether it's from friends or family or these social medias. People love to help. The last one is pretty serious, but it's a really important one, I feel. Remember that complications can and potentially will happen, whether they're very small complications or whether you are an amputee. If you don't take care of your blood sugar for extended periods of time, complications will occur. And I wish someone had kind of pushed that on me when I was younger and made it a lot more serious. And I'm not blaming anyone, and my parents did an incredible job with just having a child diagnosed with type 1 and literally knowing nothing, like starting from scratch. But when I was in high school, I had that freedom away from my parents and I didn't give a shit. So just know that complications can happen. And if you are not controlling your blood sugar and you don't care for a while, I'm not saying like a burnout here and there, but for years, like I didn't care about my blood sugar for years, and I paid a hefty price for that. And I still do to this day because my eyesight is damaged. I'm missing 2 of my toes. My kidneys are low functioning. I have neuropathy in my feet. I have retinopathy in my eyes. So, it's serious. It's serious. Amputations can happen. Blindness can happen. Kidney failure can happen. So, it's not to scare you, but I always thought, oh, it's not going to happen to me. I heard stories about, oh, so-and-so had their leg amputated, and I thought it's not going to happen to me. And I just wish somebody had really sat me down and said, if you continue down this path, it will happen to you. And I don't remember, I didn't have amazing doctors growing up, and to this day, if I go to an endocrinologist and we're just not vibing, I will not see them again, because I no longer will sit there with a doctor that I don't like. I've had 2 amputations. I've had sepsis from an infection in my feet. Check your feet every night. Every night, look at your foot, because if you have neuropathy, I think I said retinopathy earlier for my feet. I meant neuropathy. I can't remember. But if you have neuropathy in your hands or your feet, you don't feel pain. You don't feel pain. So in your feet, you have no idea if you have anything on your foot, like a cut, a blister. Do the best that you can. I'm saying if you're completely just have given up and don't give a shit about your blood sugars, like I didn't for years, there will be complications. There will be things that happen that you cannot reverse, and they will not happen immediately. Mine happened to me years after I started taking care of my blood sugar again. So just remember that it is so important. I mean, they literally call diabetes a silent killer. It leads to heart disease, and you can have limbs amputated, like I said, blindness, kidney failure. Your kidneys could fail. You might need a transplant. It affects a lot of organs. The up and down roller coaster of blood sugars constantly, or just being crazy high all the time, is not good for your other organs. I think I want to do one that's 5 things that I want diabetic parents to know if your child has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, the 5 things that are really important to know in the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.